All right, last speech roadmap will be our case in order. China politics, China rise, DA. I'm going to put an overview on the top. You don't need to flow it. Just letting you know. Anybody not ready? Okay, let's begin. We're going to start with an overview. The vote goes affirmative today because of policymaker sequencing. You have a choice between keeping with the status quo where millions of lives are at risk because of starvation. This becomes your first priority as a decision maker. The magnitude of this impact outweighs anything the negative might still hold at the end of the round. You also know that you have a 100% probability of growing economy post-plan because both sides have agreed to that argument. You will see economy grow as soon as the ballot goes affirmative because trade within agricultural sector can begin today, and the time frame for preventing resource wars begins with the signage of the affirmative. This is something that cannot happen if we vote negative and just keeps with a broken status quo. Let's start with the line by line now and begin with inherency. The fundamental flaw of the negative has been in this debate that they've refused to protect their client, which is the status quo. By refusing to debate inherency in the last speech, they demonstrate there is a problem in the status quo. The only team offering you any chance at a solution to that conceded problem is the affirmative. And at the end of the day, if you believe there's only a 1% chance of the plan solving, it's be better than a 0% chance in the status quo, which means the vote has to go affirmative. Now move on to solvency. 3 responses. When President Xi Jinping himself is saying he wants his plan, and we look to the evidence and see that China is shifting policy towards import-based agricultural practices, then we know that China wants to accept this plan. Second, agricultural technology and innovation have been and will continue to be the principal means to meet the challenge of feeding and growing the Chinese middle class. Producing more food with fewer resources while mitigating natural resource degradation will not occur without a virtuous cycle of creating and adopting new technologies, methods, and systems. The best solution to this problem is the United States. China knows it, and we know it. Passing plan is the only opportunity to do that today. And third, even if you believe the negative argument that China would use other countries, we contend that this is more of a reason to want to pass the plan today. Why just give up on that market to other countries when it could be a huge economic gain for the United States? It doesn't make sense. Now let's move on to the economy advantage. 3 responses. First, our ACC in 2011 evidence tells you that the ag is the key to the internal link to boosting the Chinese economy. The evidence warns that the U.S. could grow the ag industry in China by billions, which provides you a substantial magnitude to the impact. Second, even if you don't believe that ag is the key to saving the entire economy, the negative even concedes this as the most probable impact in the debate. Post-plan, the Chinese economy will grow. What they failed to respond to was that the U.S. economy grows with it. This is why the plan is a win-win for both countries involved. We get to open a market and China gets to consume. Both countries win. And third, this Frisbee in 2014 evidence read in the 1AR tells you how a BIT protects the theft of technology. These are protections in place to prevent this scenario. Without our plan, there is no agreed upon protections. Again, the negative fails to protect the status quo, which means theft is happening in the status quo. So the only opportunity you have to possibly prevent this from occurring is by passing the plan. Next is resource advantages. I have one response. This advantage was dropped by the negative. The Verunian 12 evidence reads in the 1AR gives you the biggest magnitude in the round. As a policymaker, you must vote affirmative on the sequencing of that impact alone. You feed millions and prevent starvation. This impact puts people in front of money, which should be the sequence of priority when writing a ballot. You also get a 100% probability here because people are starving now, and the only policy option to feed them is an affirmative plan. Next, Chinese politics. Number 1, the negative just can't drop this argument because we put offense on it. Xi Jinping in 26 evidence warrants that the Communist Party looks at a stable economy as the key to political stability. In addition, cross-applying Harada in 2016 evidence from Solvency tells you that China wants to do the plan because they know it's key to the economy, and you know this is seen as an economic win. And second, this is our new third advantage to the plan because we avoid the Chinese politics scenario the negative tried to claim would happen, but we turned it and they dropped it. Vote affirmative to avoid massive magnitude of civil war, refugees, and nuclear war. And finally is China rise. I have 3 responses. Number 1, logic and evidence is on the affirmative side. China will not attack. What matters most to them is economy and feeding their people. Both of those impacts would go away if they miscalculated or attacked, which means the probability of this disadvantage taking place is really non-existent. Second, again, the negative failed to protect the status quo, a reoccurring theme. What we know is that the status quo in China is growing its overall economy and will soon surpass the United States. Once we understand what is happening in the status quo, then you know there is nothing unique about how our plan causes this issue to get worse. If anything, we are the only policy option to help China stay in line with international order, thus preventing an aggressive attack. But third and most importantly, the only argument the negative makes here, really all they have is that there could be an accident, is what they claim. But this could happen absent of our plan too, which means it doesn't give you a unique reason to reject our plan. In fact, we win the link turn debate here because China is more likely to want to avoid a possible accident from happening because of the plan, because they don't want to lose the advantages that they gain from the plan. Those advantages are awesome. They're going to feed millions of people. They're going to grow their economy. They're going to be able to do the things that they need to do in order to be a better country. So we see a win for the United States of America with our economy growing. We see a win for the China because they're feeding their people and millions of people aren't going to have to starve. And we see a win for the globe because now China's not buying up all of the food from everybody else, and therefore this idea of a food or resource war doesn't have to occur. When you see that this is a win-win-win situation, the only vote for today is affirmative. And with that, I thank you for your time, Judge. Have a good day.